I've entered into this race because I believe that the province needs leadership, and I had left public life. I was happily doing other things, but I've been disappointed by what I've seen. And the perspective I bring to this is not from inside the government. I'm not a cabinet minister, not an MLA, don't sit in the caucus. I bring a perspective of an Albertan who's been disappointed watching what's going on in his province. I'm at a point in my life where the thing that matters most to me is what this place looks like for the next 25 years for the sake of my children and my grandchildren. And I'm running for that reason. I think the province needs leadership. Everywhere you go in this province, people speak to exactly that. And I'm sure we'll talk about a bunch of specific issues, but they all come down ultimately to the same thing, which is there's been a lack of leadership in the province. And we see the consequences of that in many ways. We see it in terms of our fiscal finances, which I'm sure we'll speak about. I'm a fiscal conservative, and I'll speak to the go-forward agenda. We see it in terms of ethics and accountability and entitlements, and I intend to reset the relationship between the government of Alberta and its citizens in that sense. I've been campaigning from the day I gave my opening speech on the end of entitlements and restoring trust of taxpayers. That's the second priority. The third priority is more, it's focused on the economic agenda going forward and the importance really of achieving global access for the products that we produce in this province. Applies for sure to energy, but applies directionally also to agriculture, agri-food, to forestry, and to all the innovative things that we do where we can no longer be dependent on a single customer, which is the United States. I love the Americans. They're wonderful people. Maybe they'll always be our best customer. My point repeatedly through the campaign is they can no longer be our only customer. And so that means pipelines to the West Coast. It means port infrastructure. It means all the things that we need to do to access the Asia-Pacific basin. Fourthly, I speak about the environment. I'm pretty passionate about that. I'm an avid, because I grew up in Grand Cache and then laterally down in the Crow's Nest Pass, but always in the Rocky Mountains. I'm pretty passionate about the outdoors. I'm an avid fly fisherman. But even if you don't get to being a conservationist because you agree with that sort of a philosophy, there's a pragmatic reason why we have to have strong environmental regulations and lead on this front, and it's a pragmatic reason that relates to access to markets and social license, to use a term I don't like, in terms of marketing what we produce in this province internationally. And we all know we have challenges there. It can't be fixed easily. It's a 25-year fix, but we have to get on the right foot again. And then fifthly, I talk about where we are in terms of our quality of life. It's not about money. It's about how we educate our children, how we take care of our parents as senior citizens when they're elderly, the quality of our health care, quality of our public infrastructure, the quality of our roads and bridges and infrastructure across the province. And in all these respects, there has been a lack of leadership in this province. And we've begun to accept mediocrity as kind of the test. Albertans don't. And so people are very upset. And it's because we've allowed an infrastructure deficit to creep up on us in this province. I mean, these are the consequences of population growth. We've gone, in my working life, from 2 million people to 3 million to 4 million to 4.2 million, headed to 5 million people. And so everywhere you go in the province, people are wrestling with the consequences of that growth and the shortage of, in some communities, it's schools. Some places it's hospitals. In some places it's senior citizen facilities. Most places, actually, it's senior citizen facilities also. Everywhere across northern Alberta, it's roads and bridges. The rural roads in Alberta are in the worst shape they've been in my lifetime. I've done field tests. I know that because I've been bouncing along on them for the last number of months. And so we're going to need leadership to really deal with all of these issues. We're going to need to address the infrastructure shortage. Some cases it's social infrastructure, some cases it's economic infrastructure. But in all cases it reflects the population growth that we've had, the economic growth that we have. You may want to talk about temporary foreign workers. It is the biggest issue on the ground out there that has emerged during the campaign, and amongst the business community in every single community that I've been to in the province. And so you may want to explore that as well. So that's kind of an overview. I'm enjoying the campaign. I'll say this. When you're in federal politics, Ottawa's a long way away. I was in federal politics for pretty close to 10 years. I was not elected all those years, but it was pretty much a 10-year tour of duty. But people don't get to know you in the same way. Provincial politics is a lot more up close and personal. And I've really enjoyed the summer because I put my jeans on and I've been sort of campaigning the length and breadth of the province. And it's, I think, given people a measure of me. And for sure, it's provided me with a pretty deep understanding of what's going on in our province.